All right, it's Thursday night, and we've got a different show for you tonight, or at least a different video for you guys to check out here. And I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but whatever the thumbnail says, that's what it is. So I've been asking you guys for a while. Everybody, look, if you want to send something in to have us read or, go through the questions before we do our breaking it down segments on Friday nights, please send it in. Send it in by Wednesdays so that we have enough time to, put it into the show and answer the questions. It's just our opinions, and we might back it up with some research and facts and stats and whatnot. But anyway, I've been asking people for a while to send stuff in, whether you want to call in, whether you want to come on the show, or you want to ask questions for the Friday breakdown segment. And today I got an email from a loyal Lions member, and I thought it would be great to share it in a video. And that's what I'm going to do for you right now. And we'll go through it. I'm going to give a little commentary to it, maybe some opinions with it, not much, and see what you guys think. Look, I'd love to have more of these, and I'll create a whole day of videos out of this stuff. And if you want us to use your information, we can. Otherwise, our policy is we don't. We won't say anything about where it came from, who it came from, again, unless you want us to. So, all right, let's get started with it. Dear Rockdown Lions, I hope this letter finds you well, and I hope you're ready for a rebound weekend of football with the brand new Lions. Love the initial statement, man. Great opening. Got my attention already. First, I want to say that I've been a diehard Lions fan since '65. After I moved to the Detroit area in '63, I am also a Lions season ticket holder now for 40 years. This letter is in response to some of your recent videos about the defense, and I wanted to touch on this Sunday's game. Please feel free to use this letter, but keep my name private, please. No problem with the privacy concerns there. We got you. And man, 40 years. That is a long time to be dedicated to this franchise and to the Lions. So I commend you and applaud you on 40 seasons, man. That's truly incredible. All right, we'll continue here. So first, I would like to acknowledge the resilience and determination that the Lions have displayed throughout the season. Despite facing constant challenges with the offensive line, injuries to Vaitai, Jackson, and Ragnow, the team has exhibited an unwavering belief in themselves and the next man up philosophy. From rookies making a significant impact to seasoned players providing veteran leadership, this Lions team has developed into a tough, grinded out type of team. I honestly feel that this team can take on any opponent, and have a chance to win. Something we haven't seen in a very long time. To that last statement there about taking on any opponent and having a chance to win, I honestly believe in that too. I really feel like this team on any given Sunday could go up against any team in the NFL and actually have a real chance to win the game. There's a couple of teams, that I'm more worried about than others, like the Eagles, clearly the Ravens, the Seattle Seahawks have had our number for a while. I don't believe the Chiefs are the same team they have been the last few years. I think we could beat them twice. But outside of that, I really don't know of any teams that I would really be nervous for with a healthy Detroit Lions team. So good statement there. One key factor that can sway this Sunday's game in the Lions' favor is their ability to outclass the Saints' defense. With two studs in the backfield, Montgomery and Gibbs, a dominant offensive line, a skilled receiving core, and yes, I am a believer in Jared Goff too. The Lions could exploit the Saints' defense by pounding the ball all day on the ground. This is a tough defense against the pass. They rank near the top with interceptions. But if Ben Johnson mixes up the play calling with a focus on the ground game, I feel our offense can keep the Saints defense on their toes, hopefully creating opportunities for big plays. My concern here is whether Jared Goff gets too much pressure and continues his turnover streak. All right, well, now I'm going to have to comment on that. And it's not a bad comment. I think you're right, man. I think everyone's concern right now is Jared Goff getting too much pressure. We've seen when our offensive line's having a rough day, there's only so much Jared Goff can put up with. And he's been one of the best at handling pressure this entire season. In the last couple of games, we were just too depleted. The opposing defenses just had our number. They knew where to pressure and when to pressure. Something AG needs to take a page from, and that's called creativity. You step outside the box and you dial up some pressure in different ways and find a way to get home. That's what the Packers did, and that helped Jared Goff to create turnovers. So hopefully we don't see it again. And you're right about a few other things, man. I mean, look, this Saints defense is no slouch. They have some players. I know they're banged up on both sides of the ball, but this is a tough team. This is a game that we need to worry about. We'll continue here. And he says, on the other side of the ball, my concern lies with the Lions defense. I was hoping the Lions would be addressing this issue well before the Saints game. In the earlier part of the season, our defense faced challenges head on, containing opposing offenses, leading the league in run stop, and we're a top 10 unit through 6 games. Since about week 7, our defense has fallen apart, with now what appears to be another bottom-dwelling defense this season. Not all is lost here, though, just yet. The Lions defense has faced its share of challenges, and the offense has certainly had theirs as well. As fans, we need to remain optimistic. In my opinion, we may not have all the players we need just yet, and that is a hurdle the Lions will overcome next season when Brad Holmes has another successful draft. Let me back up there just a second. So one of his main concerns was the Lions defensive front. Not just the defense, but the defensive front was his main concern. And then also stating that the entire defense has had its challenges. And during that time, they were facing those challenges head on, containing opposing offenses and leading the league in run stop. One of the primary areas of focus must be on the secondary, where coverage and communication issues have been evident all season. Dre Bly needs to figure out how to get the DBs in position to win and stop the big plays down the field. We cannot see another Packers game or Chargers shootout. Thankfully, the Saints are without Thomas and possibly Olave. That would be huge. I couldn't say it any better. Look at what happened versus the Packers. They had 9 starters out. We couldn't find a way to win. That can't happen. Just because the Saints have Thomas and possibly Olave out doesn't solve all the problems for us. We still have to go in and perform, and we can't let second stringers beat us up. And I think he hit the nail on the head there. Dre Bly, he's got a big job, and it's not getting any easier. This defensive backfield needs to find a way to win, just like you said. They need to find the right plays, the right schemes. Honestly, the right disguises. They need to disguise what they're doing. Yes, a great take there, man. Next up, he says, the main concern on the defense is the D-line. The Lions have recognized the need to generate consistent pressure on the opposing quarterbacks, but lack the major effect. Good word. While there have been glimpses of a formidable pass rush, opposing QBs have had 3 seconds to pass the ball, and that's far too long. In terms of both individual performances and coordinated efforts along the defensive line, this unit needs major improvement and overhaul. I don't think that I could agree more with that. Honestly, the 3 seconds thing is a major concern. We're just not getting to the quarterback. And the use of the word effect, I think, is what people are missing too. It's the effect that the pressure has on the game. It's not that we're getting pressure or not getting pressure. What effect are we having when we get the pressure? So nice of you to point that out, because now I'm probably going to use that the rest of the season. All right. This D-line is not getting sacks, and the pressure alone is not enough to force bad throws when the defensive backs are also struggling at the same time. I'm holding out hope that AG finds a new way to get to the quarterback if our D-line continues to struggle. That's a good point too. And I mentioned that, I don't know if it was the Anzalone segment that I mentioned it in, or any of the other previous defensive videos that I've done this week. But that's also one of my questions. If I were to have an opportunity to talk to AG, is what are you doing outside of the D-line? So if Hutchinson can't get home, if Kaminsky can't get home, if Pascal's not having any effect, if Aleem can't get through the middle, what are you doing? Are you gonna, switch it up and run the linebacker, blitz or the DB blitz? I mean, if they're not containing, the guys that they're supposed to cover, you might as well send them in to tackle the quarterback and hopefully get a sack. I mean, I don't know what else you can do. There has to be other options. There has to be. Next up, he says tackling efficiency is another area of this defense that has been under major scrutiny. Missed tackles have allowed opponents to extend drives and capitalize on scoring opportunities. The coaching staff has not demonstrated adaptability in games or very reactive to live game situations. Question: when are we going to see the necessary adjustments in the first half? It always seems like the Lions are stuck in their game plan and stubborn. Also, any idea on if Dan Campbell is making AG stick with the plan, or do you feel he's letting his coaches coach? Good questions. And quite honestly, I don't know how to answer it because I don't know when we're going to see the adjustments. We've been waiting pretty much all season, but at least the last half of the games that we've played, we kind of walk away scratching our heads like, okay, we got to win. It's a good game, but we let up way too many points. Or, one receiver gets, $175 on us. When are we going to make the adjustments to switch to something else that works, or at least try something else to see if it works? So your guess is as good as mine. And on the second part of that, any idea if Dan Campbell is making AG stick with a plan, or do you feel he's letting his coaches coach? Again, I don't know. I think we've kind of heard it both ways from Dan Campbell, that he has his coaches, he trusts his coaches, and he has the right team around him. And I guess, I don't know. I don't know how much he's really in their ear during the game. And I don't know how much he's, involved in the defense as much as we would hope that maybe he is. I don't know if that answers your question, but I guess really, I don't know. I don't know. Good questions though. Next up, he says, as we approach this Sunday's game with the Saints, I am filled with optimism and confidence in the Lions. The combination of a resilient team, a potent offense, and a Saints team that Dan Campbell and AG know all too well paints a perfect picture for success. While every game in the NFL is a challenge, I firmly believe that this Sunday will be a triumphant day for the Lions as they secure a well-needed victory over the New Orleans Saints. Lastly, I have been watching your show now for a couple of months. I finally made it through all the episodes. You have certainly come a long way, and I appreciate your passion. You don't have to do this for the fans, so I wanted to commend you for your loyalty to the Lions and say thank you. Signed, Lions fan since 1965. Well, I want to thank you, Lions fan since 1965, for sending in this email, and I would love for everybody else to send us some too. And you can do that. You can send it to info@rockedonpodcastnetwork.com. I know it's a long one, and eventually I will get a new email just for this, but it's rockedonpodcastnetwork.com. And that's info@rockedonpodcastnetwork.com. And send us your fan mail. And I don't mean like fan mail to me, or the show. Of course, that's all welcome to, but that's not what we're asking for. What we're asking for is this, like, send us your ideas, what you're thinking, your down dumps of, the week, the month, the season. We want to know what you guys are thinking and how you're feeling about this team. And if you're not going to call in, if you're not going to jump in the show, which you're more than welcome to do, you can write to us and we're more than happy to read it. And like I said from the very beginning, your privacy is also our concern. So we will keep everything private unless you tell us not to. So what do you guys think? I thought that this was a very well put together letter, if you will. I guess if you would call it. It's just an email. But there's some good things in here. And, I kind of feel like a lot of fans feel the same way. Like we're all very optimistic. And we do feel like there is a great group of coaches in Detroit. And by and large, they've done an excellent job turning this franchise around. And quite honestly, we're headed in the right direction. We really are. We're doing a lot of great things. A few bad games should not ruin this season. And I'm going to be honest with you, there's probably going to be another loss this season. I hope not, but I'm just being realistic with you. This Saints game, it's not going to be an easy game. And if we blow them out for some reason, well, then I would say the last 10 days, Dan Campbell probably read everybody the riot act and told them to get their crap together. Because we've never lost 2 in a row. And after a bad loss, we always come back much better. So for those reasons alone, I think that we win the game. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But I just don't know why everyone is so, I don't know, SOL. Is that the right term? I mean, the same old Lions fans is more what I'm worried about. This is not the same old Lions team, but maybe you're a same old Lions fan and you just can't get out of your own way to recognize what great things this team is doing. This fan clearly would come from that same old Lions, era. They've been through it all, losing after losing after losing season, and never have seen a championship, have only seen a couple of playoff games. So it speaks volumes that when you get a letter like this, that there's clear optimism. They're hopeful. They see the good and the bad, the positive and the negative, and they're not willing to let us know. And they're not willing to tell you about it. It's okay to be excited, and it's okay to be upset when they lose. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you had a lot going, on in that game. Maybe you bet too much or something. I feel like a lot of fans get upset because I think there's more betting nowadays. And I feel like it's too easy to spend a lot of money, and bet on a team that you feel should win everything because you bought into the ether and you drank too much Kool-Aid or whatever the case may be. Got to be realistic. But that came up in conversation the other day that I felt like maybe there's too much betting going on, and that's why people get so upset. So if that's the case, don't bet. And if you've got a problem with betting, I'm sure there's a phone number you can call. Look, it's simple to me. We're barely 3 seasons out of the hole, and we're 8-3. Am I extremely excited about the losses that we've taken? No, because they were losses. Well, 2 of the 3 losses shouldn't have happened. But the one against the Ravens, we just got smoked. So again, I want to commend the Lions fans since 1965 for sending us this letter and for, putting it on the line here and telling us how you think about this team and what you believe in this team. And there's, one thing you said in here that's kind of sticking with me right now. Let me go back and find it. And he said, from the rookies making a significant impact to the seasoned players providing veteran leadership, the Lions team has developed into a tough, grinded out type of team. I honestly feel that this team can take on any opponent and have a chance to win, something we haven't seen in a long time. And this guy's been around as a Lions fan since 1965. And he sees the difference, right? He feels the difference in this team. He's motivated by it. You can tell he's so motivated. He wrote a letter in, or sent an email in, I guess I should say. So don't be afraid to be happy. The Lions are doing great things this season. They're going to continue to do great things. And we're going to the playoffs, whether you like it or not. So if you're going to jump on the bandwagon and you are a relatively new fan to the Detroit Lions, don't fall off just yet. Stick around. Things are about to get really exciting. All right, y'all. Have a good day. Take care.
So, we look like we're ready. This is day 1.